What up, my YouTube friends? I don't know why I keep coming back here. Not here. Not this graveyard, but here. Depression. I already feel like I don't even want to make this video and I don't even want to put it up. It's like, you guys don't want to hear about depression. You guys don't want to hear about sadness. I feel like it's appropriate. I feel like, I kind of feel like giving up, like no one's even gonna watch the video, but I see it happen with all my YouTube community. Video after video, depression, not feeling like making today's video, not feeling up for it, or you're kind of down and you just kind of forced a video. Honestly, I feel like I'm depressed because I'm not working. I really hate to say that. Like, you don't know how much it pains me to say that. I hate working. I hate jobs. I hate every single job I ever had. But now I'm just staying home with nothing to do, and I'm worried about bills. I'm not even making money so I can pay for the basic things I need to pay for. That's depressing. And then also sitting at home having nothing to do. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Watch YouTube videos all day? Like, I got a lot of people out there I like to watch. But to me, that's depressing too. I don't want to just sit down and watch YouTube videos all day. Just eat too much food. Not have a job, not have really anything to do. The point of today's video, really, it's not like I came here with something planned. I feel like the point of today's video is just today's video. It's just shooting the video. It's just doing something. And it seems like, makes it sound like almost the video is pointless. But to me, it's like, I see my friends like, when they're having a bad day or when things aren't going well, they aren't feeling good, they don't want to get out of it, they don't want to go shoot the video. Or they shoot it and it's forced, it's probably maybe something like this. But really, I just wanted to say, I think this is better than nothing. Like, it seems so sad. I don't know, maybe for you guys watching it, I just look like I'm talking normally, I just look normal. I probably, overreacted, I'm not really that depressed, but it's because I came here. It's because I started shooting this video. Got a little story, I don't want to tell it for no pity, I don't like pity stories. I don't want people to pity me or feel bad for me. Take it for what it is. I don't want to see any comments that are like, oh, this sucks for you, because it's really no big deal. But basically, I've been waiting around 4 hours. I had plans. I was gonna go somewhere. I was gonna shoot the video there. Probably, throw a lot of good energy out there, make a really nice video, have a lot going on, be in a nice place, family around, whatnot. But, when I'm here, ready to go, I don't want to get into too much details, but basically I'm sitting around 4 hours waiting for someone else, and I'm like, I'm upset now. Like, I've literally just been sitting here on this couch, watching YouTube videos I don't even want to watch, eating food that I know I shouldn't eat, doing nothing. And it's like, I could have at least, if you had told me, I could have at least just gone out on my own, just go shoot a video on my own, just try to do something. Truth be told is I probably would be upset anyway. If this person I wasn't waiting for this person, I was just sitting in my house doing nothing, I probably would be upset anyway. And I probably should have just got out of my way and go do the video anyway. Which is sort of what I want to lead into. Sort of action taking. I know. My videos sound like I just kind of ramble and you think, and points just kind of fly out of nowhere. It's like, does this even go together? But they do go together. If you let me connect the dots. What I should have done today, I should have got up, should have ate a good breakfast, should have did some exercise, should have went for a walk, maybe clean my car, go out, shoot the video, not wait for anyone. Not wait for any plans, not worry about anything. I should have just took action. I'd be in a much better state, a much better mood. Maybe that'd be when you see one of my videos where I'm really high energy and I'm really pumped up, and now it's like, I just sat around doing nothing. That's why I'm depressed. For my YouTube community out there, how many of you guys are depressed and you don't have a job? It's a question. Now, I'm not telling you to get a job. I honestly think jobs these days are the root of all evil, if I'm being honest. I can make a whole video on how I think, you know, all the things that I think are wrong with jobs that are just consistent problems I always have. You know, why I don't think we should have a job, why jobs just are not the way of the future, how jobs are dying. I can make a whole video on that. But I still want to ask the question, how many of you out there are depressed and you don't have a job? Because honestly, while a job is an easy place to get a lot of anger, a lot of stress, and a lot of anxiety, sometimes you can deal with that. Sometimes you can learn, you know, to try to still enjoy the job anyway, try to still have fun anyway, try to look all the stress and the anxiety that comes from it. Sometimes you can work around it and you can learn a lot by yourself and grow a lot as a person. But when you're just sitting around at home, no offense, because I've been there myself. I'm only talking about this. Anything I talk about, I can only talk about it because I experience it. And it's through the experience that I have an actual understanding. I'm not just write some book and like some guy told me this. I'm like, I experienced this myself. This is what happens naturally in my body through a lot of self-awareness that we all need to develop. But when I'm just sitting at home, I don't have a job, you know, as calm as I am, there's still that lingering thought in the back of my mind of how I'm gonna pay my bills, how am I gonna support myself, what's that next job I'm gonna do, what is it gonna be like. Those little thoughts, they kind of eat at me alive. And even if they don't eat at me alive, I find myself too often sitting there like, what should I do? Like, what should I do? Like, I know logically the thing I should be doing right now, pick up a good book, watch an educational video, study, learn, grow, develop myself, get stronger mentally and physically. But when I'm sitting there, I don't feel like doing it. I just don't. I don't feel like doing it. And then, you know, I go watch some mindless entertainment videos, whoever that may be, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't even want to watch this. I don't know why I'm watching it. And basically, I'm saying maybe if you're depressed, you might be experiencing some of these similar things. That you might find yourself at home and you just don't know what to do with yourself. That honestly is probably, I feel like for me, is the root of a lot of depression. And it's such an ironic root of depression because, I mean, there's two ways to like solve it. Like, the first way is like action. Like I said, I could have at least been more active. I could have got up, got myself going, maybe did some exercise, had a good meal, went for a walk, you know, little things that kind of just boost me. But then the other thing, the real cure to it, is being okay with doing nothing. Now that one, I say it like it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't even know if I could truly explain that, but I'll do the best I can at it. Basically though, boredom isn't real. If you work with me for a moment, boredom is not necessarily a real emotion. It's kind of a byproduct of having so much like just endless mindless stimulation and entertainment kind of at your access. Like these days right now, you're sitting here on YouTube. I got a phone in my pocket. If I want, I could go sit in the corner over there and watch YouTube videos or play video games. It's so weird. And I say it's weird because you got to remember, human beings have been alive for a long time, really long time. The amount of time we've had such technology is so recent that you probably couldn't even properly graph it on like a scale of like human time. Like, it would just be like the now is when it all just happened. But you know, you go back 50 years, they didn't have walk-in internet boxes. You go back another 50 years, they didn't have TVs. You know, eventually you didn't have cars, you didn't have trains, you didn't have any of this like technology. So it kind of forced you, like, you have no choice but to just sit down and be okay with having nothing to do, because you can't just pull out your internet box to distract you. You can't do that. But these days, you can. And see, my point that I'm trying to get at is that having such an easy access, so that anytime, wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, you can escape from where you are and feel like you're doing something that you're not really doing, or at least have a distraction in your hand, just like that, on the go. It's so bad these days with the kids walking around playing video games or walking around texting on their phone. And it's like, if you were to take that electronic away from them, they go crazy. You can test this. If you have kids of your own that are addicted to electronics, just take it away for a day. God, watch, it almost makes me laugh to just think about it, to watch how fast they get depressed. That right there kind of sums up everything I'm trying to build towards in here in this video, if anyone's still following. If you were to take one of these electronic devices away from them, and you were to tell them they have to sit here and do nothing, they'd get depressed so quickly. It is like, let's take this a step back. What if you did not have that electronic device? What if you didn't have toys? You'd have to sit there and do nothing, and you'd be okay with it, because there wasn't another option. So essentially, it'd be a lot harder for you to be bored, and it'd be a lot harder for you to have anxiety, in a sense, at least anxiety that comes around having nothing to do in boredom, because you just, basically, I'm just making the point, like, what if you did not have such easy access to a distraction? What if you didn't have such easy access to YouTube, to even books, to just anything? Or what if for your entire life you had no choice but to accept where you are, accept your circumstances, accept your life situations, accept your environment? You had to just accept everything, and you could not just pull out a distraction device. There was no video games, no TV, no electronics, no entertainment, because you don't really have to go that far back. And something that's like kind of key around all this is you got to understand too, humans, you obviously developed in a time with technology. You're obviously sitting here with technology in front of you, but humans didn't develop with this. Your mind, your body did not develop with this. It's not like you're accustomed and you're just used to having all this mindless stimulation and it's just part of a human life. It's really more of like you were born into this world, and all of a sudden all this technology is here and you're just accepting it as if it's normal when there's nothing normal about it. Something I kind of really get into here, probably won't go on too much longer with this video, but something you have to consider: what are the long-term ramifications of having all this technology around us? The short term is already here. You can test it. It's been shown in colleges. It's been proven. We have more anxiety than ever before. And it's actually been shown in colleges by, I don't know the exact words I'm looking for here, but basically the actual college students have come in complaining to, I don't know, whatever you call their psychiatric ward, whatever their health department would be over there. And basically there's been just a rampant recently since the explosion of technology, especially since the explosion of social media and things like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, all these things. So now it's like, not only do you have the internet box, you have a reason to use it, you have something you want to do on it, and you think it's good for you and you think it's something you should do, but they've shown there's just so much more of an explosion of anxiety these days. And I believe that they actually said that it seems like the average college student actually has the anxiety of what a literal crazy person would have had back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Not like you're crazy and you live at home, like you're crazy and you're stuck in a psychiatric ward, you're stuck in a mental hospital, that's a real prison. They've shown that today's college students have the anxiety of the kind of person who back in the day you would lock them up because they just seem like a crazy person. And we're kind of just all Gotta make sure the camera doesn't cut me off. And we're kind of just all, and I mean all of us these days, because it's so hard to avoid in the first world countries. You know, if you're in a third world country or you're in a poorer country, this is one of those things you have an advantage on. I was building on another point, but now this point just kind of came up. But they've actually can show too that in a lot of the poorer countries, the people there are actually so much happier than they are in the first world countries. And in the first world countries, if you really look around, if you know how to read people really well, and you don't buy into the illusion that they give off, like, oh, we have the nice house, we have the nice, you know, car, you know, we have all these nice expensive things, look at how happy we are. If you don't buy into that illusion and you just look at them in their eyes, you can see that they're depressed. You can see that there's so many people these days that have no real problems, including myself, and we're depressed. And we don't know why we're depressed. We don't know how to fix it. We don't know what we should do with ourselves. We're just like so lost and so entangled in this new world that we live in now. I was talking about long-term ramifications. Something we don't know. There's a lot of talk around this, but we don't even know what are the long-term ramifications of having so much access to technology. I gotta keep checking because I know this is gonna cut me off in a minute. There was a quote by Steve Jobs. He was on an interview. You know, it's interesting because it's basically, I was watching a TED Talk. Hold on, I'm gonna pause. I had to pause because this camera's just gonna cut me off in a minute. But there's a TED Talk where they actually talked about how technology is actually one of the fields that the people who make the technology don't necessarily buy into it. You know, like if I break it down more, like let's say Ford, the car company, you know, the guy who makes Ford cars, you know, the guy who owns it probably drives a Ford. You know, he's gonna want to show off his product, of course. That's kind of straightforward, obvious. You want to, even if you don't like it, sometimes you're still gonna buy into your own product, you know, because you're supporting yourself for one thing, and you want other people to believe in it. Like the idea of, there was a businessman who used to go into meetings and to sell his dog food, he'd eat it himself. And with the idea of it's good enough for me, it's good enough for your dog. But they actually found in the technology field that this doesn't hold true. And there was an interesting quote by Steve Jobs. He was on a regular, you know, completely normal interview. And at the end of the interview, the interviewer threw him just this curveball question, like something he just wanted to throw in there, just to see how the man would respond to it. And he didn't respond the way you think he would. The interview basically said something like, oh, your kids must like the iPad. And Steve said, we actually limit the amount of technology we let our kids use. Now that's, honestly, if you can take that in, I think that one sentence alone really says everything. This is all coming, this last part here is really coming from a TED Talk. I don't want to take credit for information that I didn't like bring to the table. It's a TED Talk on what technology is really doing to us. He also mentioned in the talk too that there's a bunch of Silicon Valley tech executives, basically a bunch of millionaire, billionaire tech executives, that they send their kids. There's a Pacific school that a lot of them send their kids to, a private school that they're paying to have their kids in, that they don't give them any technology to, I believe it was at least 8 years old. Basically showing that they're actually, the people who build the stuff are actually limiting the amount of technology they let their kids use. So like they're seriously concerned about what that does to a child. And honestly, in my experience, you know, I have my own son, I don't think it does anything good. I can literally, like I said, what I was talking about him, you pull away his DS, instantly depressed. If he's watching TV all day, if he's doing nothing whatsoever, he'll be fine. But if you give him a DS, you let him watch too much TV, you know, anything electronic wise, once he's hooked on it, you pull it away, he literally gets instantly depressed. And it's so sad to watch because it's not even like kind of depressed, is like he looks like he falls into the deepest, darkest pits of depression, like just the moment you don't give him any mindless stimulation. Sometimes what I do to him, because I want him to start learning how to deal with himself, because I know this is just going to be a growing problem if I don't get him to learn how to deal with it. Sometimes I'll just take him and I'd be like, just sit here or just stand there, and I won't even talk to him. I just be like, just be there, just try to calm down a little bit, and you can literally see instant depression. Like, it's just so unrealistic how angry, how upset, how mad, how depressed, and how sad he gets, and how quickly it happens. And it really just goes on to the whole point of this video, well, at least the topic that this video ended up going into, that this technology we have around us, you know, you're just so used to having it, you're just so, you get addicted to it, you get hooked onto it, because it's just so easy to escape the present moment. Now that sounds kind of spiritual, and I hope you guys can follow along with me, because I know I lose a lot of people when I start sounding like I'm not making sense. But you know, when I get spiritual, maybe it's kind of the point is you're not necessarily supposed to understand it, because when you're trying to comprehend it too much, you're using your mind, and the idea is to free yourself from your mind and to not, you know, be a slave to your thoughts, so that you don't just get angry and have to chase your anger. You don't just get sad and you have to change your sadness, so that you can actually be a calm, level-headed, rational person. That's what really spirituality is about to me, in a sense. I explained all that, and I was like, wait, what was I talking about? Well, basically, I was on a roll saying that when you have this right here, this, you see it right here, this, right now I could be like, I'm on my phone, and then instead of me being here focused on this environment, focused on the fact that I'm even making a video, I could be like, oh, somebody sent me a text message, I gotta reply, I gotta check my Facebook, okay, that's done, let's go to YouTube, watch a video, well, that's done. Then you could go on endlessly. With the internet, it's literally an endless pit. Or, you know, I was also seriously addicted to video games once, for better or for worse. But you know, you can play video games endlessly. You can go on the internet endlessly. They're just deep wells of bottomless pits. But basically, it's like you could be standing here, you know, in this place, shooting a video, just like an example, and you're not focusing on the video. If you can follow me, you're focused on your phone. Or you could be at the beach and you're like, yes, now it's time for me to have fun, but you have so much anxiety, you pull out your phone, and now you're on your phone. You're going for a walk, you're on your phone. You're at the gym, you're on your phone. Try to look at this, the amount of places you are where you're on your phone. And you know, it kind of reminds me of something I say to my son a lot. Like, we just went all the way, I don't want to mention specific places, but we traveled 3 hours, over 3 hours, so you can go spend time with your grandparents. Think about this, we traveled 3 hours, over 3 hours, so he can go spend time with his grandparents, and then he gets there, he wants to watch TV the whole time. That's sad. I wouldn't even curse. It's upsetting, it's angering to me. It's like, you can play video games at home. You can still even be, like, I'm not suggesting you should play I'm basically suggesting in this video you should limit technology, but let's just break this down. Like, you can be at home on the internet, on your phone, on YouTube, playing video games, but then it gets to the point where it's like, you're at the beach and you're supposed to be enjoying yourself, or you traveled hours to go visit your parents and you're supposed to be with them, but you're sitting somewhere in your phone. In the case of my son, traveled over 3 hours so he could see his grandparents, who he loves so much, and they love him so much, and he wants to spend time with them, and he cries when it's time to leave. He's sad about it. He just wants to be with them. He wished that he could live with them and he could live with us at the same time. But what does he do when he's with us? What does he do when he's with them? He watches TV the whole time. It's like, You could basically be in a room by yourself, the only person on the planet, watching TV the whole time, and 90% of your life would not be influenced by it because you're just sitting there watching TV, and it's like you only take 10% of your life to get out of your own way and actually go live your life. It's a sad life. I came out here to shoot this video. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna shoot about. I'm just gonna start talking. Kind of really built up really slowly, and I ended up getting into a whole like thing over technology. And this is kind of like a weird thing for me to say. Like, I'm a YouTuber, right? So I was like, I want you guys to watch my videos. I do. I would love if everybody watched my videos. That's great for me. That's what any YouTuber would want. But I honestly think that as a human being, we should limit our amount of times we're spending on YouTube. That's so hard for me to kind of say in a sense because I am a YouTuber. But I think we need to limit the amount of time we spend on YouTube. And I know that's just, I fear it. I feel it in me that I might be scaring you by these thoughts. Because, you know, the first thing comes to your mind, if you put down your phone, you put down your video games, your technology, your social media, whatever it is you do, then what's left? And honestly, what's left is your life. Is the time where you actually get to enjoy your life, or you actually get to experience life. That is what's left. But you can't go out and enjoy life and experience the life until you learn to be okay with doing nothing. Until you learn to be able to accept where you are. And see why these two things are really important? See, like, imagine, picture the picture of your home. You're sitting down at your table. Let's say you're not using technology and you accept that you're just here. You accept that you have nothing to do, and I basically mean you just don't have a problem. You're just sitting at your table, you're just calm, probably in a generally positive mood, just okay with the fact that you're just sitting at home at your table doing nothing. See, now the power in this is now I pull you out of your home, plop you on a beach somewhere. Now you get to sit on that beach, happy that you're there, calm that you're there, accepting that you're there, actually enjoying your life for a change, actually enjoying the moment. Because if I put you in your house, if we redo that the other way, and you're sitting there with your technology box, and then I take you out of your house and I put you on the beach, what are you probably gonna do? Take out your technology box. And even if you don't take out your technology box, since you're so used to having your technology box, for you to actually come into the moment, the now, to be where you are, actually enjoy yourself, feel good, have positive feelings going through you, actually being happy and excited about life, it's a weird thing to do. If you could follow me on that, like I believe I mentioned in my last video, like, smiling could be a weird thing to do for people. Like, imagine if you just truly never laugh. You never smile. Like, go back and think about, when's the last time you laugh? How often do you laugh? Like, if you're the person who's just not really laughing a lot, smiling a lot, you might actually need to fake a smile and hold it for a while before you can get yourself actually going and actually laughing. Because it's a weird thing. Your body's not used to this. But basically, the point of this entire video, the point of all my videos, is to start deprogramming you from this crazy nonsense of a world that no longer makes sense. Because we're human beings who had instincts that were developed millions of years ago to help us function in a completely different world. And now one day we're just plopped here. And we think this is where we're supposed to be. We think everything's just normal, everything's okay, but it's scary. It's a scary world out there, where all of us are like having panic attacks left and right. We don't necessarily know how to calm down and relax and be happy anymore. I said I was gonna end this video, but it's true. It's all true. We have this survival instinct in our mind that is like, oh, there's a tiger there, run from the tiger. Or there's a tiger there, go fight the tiger. Or the bear, or the lion, the animal in the forest. We didn't have a survival instincts that were developed while we lived in these houses. Made out of who knows what. Cheap wood. Whatever material they make walls out of that you can punch your hand through if you're strong enough. You know, these flammable things. But point being, we didn't live in these sheltered environments like this. You know, in suburban areas, just surrounded by them, with no animals and no visible threats in sight. Truly, I mean, you know, life is real. I gotta check, make sure when the camera's gonna cut me off again. Life is real. You know, other people can threaten you. The cops even are concerned these days. But 90% of the time, try to pay attention. When are you panicking and you're actually in a life-threatening situation? Now, the reason I ask you that is because this is a survival mechanism. If it's active, your body, maybe you don't think it, maybe you don't logically think it, but your body separately from you thinks it's in a life-threatening situation, and that's why it's panicking. Basically, the whole point of this video, though I wouldn't end it now, because I don't want to keep it going different places and it starts sounding like I'm rambling, but the whole point of this video is trying to get you to pull back, slow down, get more in touch with reality, start really connecting with what's really going on around you, what's actually happening. When you're getting stressed out, not letting it overtake you and actually slowing down and be like, okay, my body feels stress. Why does it feel stress? How can I deal with this? But from a calm, more rational, more functional state of mind, not from this like panic haze that you're just kind of like freaking out, maybe yelling at people, maybe abusing other people, maybe abusing yourself, self-harm, spreading the self-harm to other people. Trying to sum it up here, but yeah, basically the point of this video, all my videos, is trying to deprogram you from this nonsense world that we think it's normal, we think it's okay, but we didn't truly grow up in this. Our ancestors didn't grow up in this, and we're just flopped here. We're expected to accept everything that is normal when it's not normal, and it's actually really, really scary if you can't slow yourself down and start to, I want to say logically, but logically is not the word. But if you can't slow yourself down and start to calmly and rationally accept the real world as it is, accept what's going on, accept your life, accept where you are, accept how you feel. And the point of all this acceptance is really, because that's honestly, it's the root of a lot of our problems. You know, when they say like anxiety is just cause because you don't want to be where you are, and if you really think about that, when you have an anxiety, you're painting a picture of a situation that's not where you are. When you're depressed, you're probably, you don't know what to do, or you're bored or something of that sort. Anything, you can paint a picture any which way, but it's gonna come back to some sort of general basis around that, where truly, if you could just be okay, I'm here. This is gonna sound so weird. It's like, it's not, I can't really explain it mentally, because you're not supposed to get it mentally. The point is to get out of your own head and to stop thinking so much. I can't really explain it to you mentally, because the mind is not supposed to get it. Because once you try to mentally comprehend it, you're going in your head. But basically, I'm trying to get you to just be okay with where you are, okay with your life as it is, and just really accepting of all of it. Even like negative emotions inside of you, you have to accept them, because that's the only way they're gonna process and move on, so that you can have those moments in life where you can start enjoying it, where you can start feeling good. This is Our World Shifted, hoping I changed somebody's life today. I feel like a good follow-up video on this, I might put it around somewhere. Is happiness overrated? Because I could go on forever, but I don't want to keep you guys here forever and start repeating information I've had in other videos. But yeah, basically that video is just about, what if happiness really is just being at peace, being calm, being okay with where you are, and not like worrying about it, not stressing out over it, and just accepting it. Acceptance is really the key. And I don't want to, I feel like that could be a whole video on its own. Don't want to keep this video going on forever, but I do feel like acceptance is such a strong key. Because when you think about it, when you pull out your anxiety box, what are you really doing? What you're really doing is leaving the present moment, taking your focus out of it and putting it onto your technology box. And if you can start accepting where you are, like, okay, I'm here, I don't have anything to do, I'm bored. If you can accept it, you might not even be bored. You won't even have a problem with the fact that you don't have anything to do, because the fact that you're looking for something to do suggests that you're trying to not just be okay and accepting where you are. Now, I know all this sounds so weird, and this is the point where I lose so many people, and I'm trying to bring you to a world beyond mental comprehension. That's kind of the problem. And I'm about to run out of time here because I know I'm going to lose you if I go on for any longer. So I am going to end the video, but try to limit your technology. I would like to say, just try. I invite you to do it for a day. See how you feel. Try to just limit your technology and just be okay with where you are. I invite you to try this for a day. It sounds weird. It doesn't really make sense, but see how you feel at the end of the day. And I hope you guys have a better life because you saw this video. This has been OurWorldShifted. If you liked anything in this video, you can hit that subscribe button. You can look through. We got plenty more videos to go, and I hope you guys have a nice life.